Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. In this video I want to show everyone on how to add the grid and graticules on your plans or drawing within the AutoCAD Civil 3D work environment, just like what you can see on the screen. So these graticule and grids was added with a plugin within the AutoCAD Civil 3D. Alright, so I'm just quickly going to show you guys how I achieved that within minutes. Alright, so let me just go back to the model space and start the drawing all over again. So if this is your first time joining me on this channel, do well to check the description of the video to see previous tutorials on AutoCAD and also Civil 3D. Thank you. So yeah, I just load up the AutoCAD Civil 3D. Alright, so I'm actually working on a drawing for now, which is a particular subdivision drawing. Yeah, there's a layout drawing, so I just want to embellish the map and make it more professionally presentable. Alright, so if you want to add the grids and graticules on AutoCAD Civil 3D, it's very easy. Okay, all you have to do is to load in the SWDTM. Alright, there are various methods. You can actually use the inbuilt Civil 3D tools, but that is quite kind of a long process. But this method I'm showing you is a very fast and easy to use method. So when you open the SWDTM, alright, it's going to pop up on your AutoCAD Civil 3D or your basic AutoCAD. Right, it works for any CAD application. So you click on draw, then you scroll down to draw grid. Then you will see the three options. Either you draw grid with grid lines, or you draw grid without grid lines, or you erase all grids. That is, if you have actually created any of these two options, you can just erase all of it. So for the both options, I'm just going to go with draw grid with grid lines. So you click on that. Then the first prompt is to enter the grid interval. So this is actually dependent on the paper size or the template you are making use of. So this is my template here is 1 to 1500. So I'm just going to leave it at 50. Alright, so when you create the grid interval of 50 and it's not looking okay by you, you can always come back here and edit, right, to recreate any grid interval that suits you. So I'm going to leave it as 50, then you click on OK. Then the next thing is to enter the text height. So I'm just going to leave it at 1 to be very small. Alright, then click on OK. Then the next instruction is to select the first point, that is the bottom left corner of your drawing template. So I just want it to be from here. So if you want yours to cover the whole of your drawing, even with the title blocks, you can click here. But I don't want it to cover the title blocks, that's why I choose here the bottom left corner. Then the next instruction is to select the second point, that is the top right corner. Then I'm going to click here, top right corner. So you can see the grids has been generated, but that's not all, because I've been working with the grid lines before now. So I switch off the layer of that. I'm just going to switch it on under my layer features, and here it is. So I'll turn it on. So if you have not been making use of this SWDTM to create grid files, and if you have not actually tampered with your layer properties, yours will not be turned off. Okay, so it's just going to display it the way you are seeing on the screen. So you can see it is very easy to use. You can see the grids and you can see the graticules line. So you can just do one or two editing on it. Alright, so I do not want all these coordinates of the individual grids within the drawings to show. I only want to leave that of the outer edge of the grid lines. So what I'm going to do is to turn on the layer of my layout, which is under here. Click on layer properties in my own case, the layer 0 is where all my drawing was on, so I'm going to switch that off. Alright, so that is switch off, and also I'm going to switch off the grid lines so that I can be able to delete what I want to delete. Okay, alright, so I'm just going to select all of this that is inside of the drawing, then I'm going to hit on delete. So you can see I am actually leaving just that which is at the edges of my frame. Okay, then I can turn on back all layers that I just switched off right now. Alright, so the next thing now is to change the color. So I want my grid lines to be blue, so I'll double click on the grid lines layer here, double click on the color, then I'll change that to blue, click on OK, and you can see that is blue already. Also, I'm going to select this grid here. Alright, I have changed the Graticule to blue. I'm going to select the grids, and under here is the coordinates, which is for the grid lines. So I'm going to double click on the color there and make it blue. Alright, so all the grids is now blue, as well as my Graticule lines. Right, both the grid lines and the Graticule lines is now blue. Then lastly, I am going to minimize this, close this, and reduce the width of the grid lines by selecting one of it, right clicking, then select similar, then click on properties. Then I can scroll down to the scale X, Y, and Z, so I can reduce that to 0.5 as well. So just to reduce the length and breadth of the grid lines, so that's okay by me. So if you check now, it is now smaller and it's presentable professionally. So that's very easy to go about creating of grid lines and Graticule on your map, right? So you can actually have a view of it under your layout model space. Okay, so here it is, right? So this is presentable. If you do not know how to import different free templates of your choice, do well to check the description of this video and see how to import any template of your choice. If you find this video helpful and informative, do well to hit on the subscribe icon, as well as turn on your notification to keep on getting valuable tutorials freely. Thank you. See you in the next video.